The Great Race, the Rabbit and the Tortoise. Once upon a time, in a vast and beautiful forest, there lived a proud and speedy rabbit named Riley and a wise and patient tortoise named Toby. Riley was known throughout the land for his incredible speed, while Toby was admired for his persistence and calm demeanor. One day, as the animals of the forest gathered near the riverbank, Riley boasted about his speed, claiming, "No one in this entire forest can outrun me. I am the fastest creature here, and no one even comes close." Toby, who had been quietly listening, smiled and said, "Speed isn't everything, my friend. Sometimes slow and steady wins the race." Riley burst into laughter. "Win a race? You? That's impossible, Toby. You're the slowest animal in the forest." The other animals started murmuring, intrigued by the idea of a race between Riley and Toby. "Why don't you prove it?" a mischievous fox suggested. "Let's have a race between you two." Riley grinned confidently. "Fine, I accept the challenge. Let's race tomorrow morning." Toby nodded. "I accept too. Let's have an honest and fair race." The next morning, the entire forest gathered to watch the much-anticipated event. The race would begin at the big oak tree and end at the crystal-clear lake at the other end of the forest. The animals cheered as the fox, acting as the referee, raised his paw. "On your marks, get set, go," he shouted, and Riley bolted forward like a flash, leaving a cloud of dust behind. Toby, as always, took his time, starting at a slow but steady pace. As Riley sped through the lush greenery, he chuckled to himself. "This race is too easy. Toby is miles behind. I have plenty of time to rest." Seeing a shady tree nearby, Riley decided to take a nap. "I'll just rest for a few minutes," he thought, curling up comfortably. Soon he was snoring, completely unaware of the time passing. Meanwhile, Toby continued walking, never stopping, never rushing. He enjoyed the journey, greeting other animals along the way and soaking in the beauty of the forest. The birds chirped, the butterflies fluttered, and the wind whispered through the trees. Hours passed, and Toby finally reached the place where Riley had been sleeping. Seeing the rabbit curled up under the tree, he smiled but didn't stop. He simply continued on his way, step by step, toward the finish line. As the sun started setting, Riley suddenly woke up. Stretching lazily, he looked around and realized, "Oh no, I must have slept for too long, but surely Toby is still far behind. I can still win." He dashed off at lightning speed, racing through the trees and leaping over rocks. As he approached the final stretch, he could see the finish line in the distance, and to his absolute horror, Toby was just a few steps away from crossing it. "No, this can't be happening," Riley gasped, pushing himself to run even faster. The animals cheered loudly, watching the dramatic moment. The finish line, Toby took his final step and crossed it first. The forest erupted in cheers as Toby smiled warmly. "Slow and steady wins the race," he said humbly. Riley panted heavily, realizing that his overconfidence had cost him the victory. "I can't believe it," Riley admitted, hanging his head. "I was so sure I would win, but I underestimated you, Toby." Toby chuckled. "Winning isn't just about speed, it's about determination, patience, and never giving up." Riley nodded, learning an important lesson that day. From then on, he became humbler and more respectful toward others. And though he remained the fastest animal in the forest, he never again underestimated the value of persistence and dedication. The animals of the forest never forgot the great race, and Toby's victory became a legendary tale passed down for generations, a story of wisdom, patience, and the triumph of the steady heart. And so, the great race between the rabbit and the tortoise became a cherished lesson for all. Slow and steady truly wins the race.